Good afternoon. I've come off the old Holywood Road at Holywood County Down and I'm panning round, and this is the entrance to Redburn Cemetery. I never knew this cemetery existed. And it's at the base of Redburn Country Park. And those trees are beginning to change colour. It's not a particularly big cemetery. Having said that, there's quite a few people buried in it, and it's not a particularly new cemetery. And I've come here for a wee walk round. And amongst the plots are people that a lot of people in Northern Ireland would actually know. We've got Barney Eastwood. He's very, very well known. He ran a lot of bookie shops and was a boxing promoter and all the rest of it, as far as I know. And then we've got Sir Oliver Napier. I think he was a Labour MP or MLA or whatever you want to call it. He was an Alliance leader as well. And then we've got super artist, cartoonist, extraordinaire, Roland Friars. And his cartoons, you know, satirised the political situation right throughout the Troubles. Then we've got Van Morrison's parents. They're in here somewhere. And then we've got the grave of several people killed in the Troubles. The graves. And I was just looking this up this morning. We've got the grave of Lance Corporal Nigel Moffat, aged 28, killed in Musa Quach, Helmand Province, and he lost his life there. So we'll see what we can find here. Cemeteries to me are great places of personal reflection, and they certainly, you know, teach us. Walking around a cemetery teaches us to get our priorities right and be glad that we're still alive. I mistakenly had come in at the side entrance down here, but this is actually the main entrance to the cemetery. And the cemetery was opened in 1954, and there's approximately 3,500 people in here.
Yeah, we've got a mask here. Okay, I'll see you there shortly.
And I think this one is one of the first graves, or else maybe this one. And there's this is a mixed cemetery. There's Catholic and Protestant graves in this cemetery, but most of the Catholic graves that I have seen have been down at this far end. But they don't do that anymore, thankfully. Where Protestant graves are separated from Catholic graves, which is, to me, is a nonsense. But that used to happen regularly in graves. Really daft. I've just found Barney Eastwood's grave. Boxing promoter, bookie, charismatic type personality, managed by McGuigan. And Barry was a world champion. And the Eastwood plot's quite extensive. Well, I'm just interested in graves and grave headstones. And this is an interesting one. Squadron leader Wally Runciman, AFC DFM, killed at Sydenham Air Display, 9th of June 1956, aged 35. Oh, that's very, very strange. What happened? This is a grave of Ruth Priestley Allen, 1957 to 2004. And I must look this lady up. And some sad stories told in the grave headstones here. I've just come by a grandfather in the grave and also a grandson. And the grandson died in 2019. He was only 27. Here's an interesting grave here. This is Teuton. I'm walking about in here, and there's a lot of English and foreign names, surnames, and certainly this is not an Irish name. In memory of Captain Bran McElroy, who died in 1993. And it's got a regimental logo up here, which I don't know, but I'm sure I'll be able to find out. So that's the Teuton grave with Captain Bran McElroy in it. I'm just panning round and I'm looking at graves very close to me, and there's a Dunoon, there's a Downs, there's a Moon, there's a Blyberg. These are not Irish or Northern Ireland names. And there's a Booker, and there's a Round over here. Here we have Freeham's as a surname, Freeham, and Leinster. And Riddles. and much, M-U-T-C-H. I've just passed by the Fallon grave headstone and the Windrum grave headstone. Penton. And you wonder where the ancestors of these people. Govan. You wonder where they originated from. And this is one grave that I was hoping actually to come across. This is the grave of Lance Corporal Nigel David Moffat, Light Dragoons. He was only 28, soldier son and saint, killed in action, Afghanistan. And he was killed in Helmand province when his armoured vehicle was blown up by a roadside bomb, and he was killed alongside his mate. They were in a Jackal armoured vehicle. He was killed alongside Corporal Stephen Bolger. The garment Elaine wore was seamless. Young man, 28. And you wonder what our presence in the Middle East, and I'm speaking generally, you know, Kuwait, Afghanistan, etc., etc. You wonder what it was all about. Why our troops were there in the first place, and such pain inflicted on their loved ones whenever they died. I think our politicians like Blair and Cameron have so much to answer for. Weapons of mass destruction, and there were none. Invasion of Iraq. Friars, R-U-A. 1920 to 1998. He was 78, artist, cartoonist, much loved husband, father and grandfather. I have had a wonderful life. And his cartoons, satirising so much of Northern Ireland politics, and this is his grave. Another interesting grave there. It's, the surname is Duckett. And here's another one. That looks as if it's Polish or Czechoslovakian or Ukrainian. Ogborn. Ashel. Coils. you know what too? All the people in here were loved and are sadly missed. There's another few strange names, Babs and Quee as surnames. There's another logo. Is this a military logo? I'm not too sure. Or is it a sports logo? I think it's, I don't know. There's UDR logo. Cap badge or police, is that? I'm not too sure. RUC. I think it's RUC. And I'm standing in front of the Ormond grave, and again this one has a military logo. I don't know what regiment that would be. Maybe somebody would get back to me. And there's another surname. It's quite interesting. Wardrop and Bretherton beside it. And McGaffigan and Cave. Where did all these people hail from? And so many sad stories. I've just come past the grave of a 9-year-old. Oh dear. Oh dear. The heartache must be immeasurable. And some people are very, very loyal and faithful. They come here. One of the guys looking after the cemetery told me, I said, do people come here every week? He says, some people actually come here every day. Do you know what? The grave diggers and the headstone makers, they'll never run out of work. Never run out of work. Nan Karen. And it's beginning to cloud over. There's another Thallon and Coppinger. And at Windrum grave, somebody must be in that grave that's associated with Harden Woods. Well, there we go. We walk round off Redburn Cemetery.